headphones. You guys both have weird headphones.
Welcome everyone to Over and Back. Joined again, Coach Siebert, Oregon, Coach DePouw, Greenfield. Sunday night. It's been a hell of a last. Well, we were together the last 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago, right? A lot has happened. We just said as we were talking before we started the recording, we're going to start with DePouw's game. We're going to start with the Greenfield Whitnall game, which was an immediate classic. And I had already texted to some. I know I was texted Norgard and Craig. I said, Whitnall beat Greenfield. That didn't happen.
Oh, wow. Called it before the buzzer.
Well, there was buzzer. They had the ball on their own. Like, how do you lose that game? How do you lose that game?
It was crazy.
How do you send that text message?
Well, I was just getting ahead.
Right. No faith.
I like to be prompt. I like to be ahead of the curve.
No, man, it was if there was an ESPN win probability for high school basketball, that would have been 99.8 to 99.9 at that point in time. It was a crazy play. We stole the inbounds pass, corner three. Guy was like toe tapping in the corner inbounds, like I don't know, like prime Calvin Johnson, and also shot a three from the corner straight through as the buzzer went off. 64-63 Hawks over Falcons, and I'm still kind of in shock.
How many times have you watched it on video? Have you done the
conservatively?
Have you done the okay? Now I'm going to watch it and watch everyone's reaction. Yet?
Yes. Yeah. I think conservatively, I'm in the low probably 200s.
Oh my God, that's really high. My bad. I thought you were going to say like 50. 200.
Oh no.
What it's all about, man.
Yeah, I've watched that quite a bit, man. That was Matt Mason, Steve Pinter, the kid hit that shot. You can just go back 5 seconds and rewatch it again, and then the other angles started popping up on like Instagram and whatnot, and you could like see his feet. Like, where was he in bounds? Did the clock start on? It was just man. Friday was not the most productive day of all time in U.S. history, but we did we examined that thing like it was a Zapruder film.
This is nice. 200. That's impressive.
Well, I didn't. There's another. I didn't see another angle. I had no idea there was another angle. You have to send it to me. I have not seen
I'll do that. I will do that. It's like from the I don't know where the person was filming from. It's almost like it's coming from the scorer's table, like right down the sideline, to the corner where the kid's feet is. So you can see like the ball just like hovering over the ground as he picks it up, like keeping his feet in while he's pivoting to the side, and then Mason fires up the three and straight through as the buzzer goes off. It was an all-timer, man. I hopefully will coach for a long time. I'm not sure that will ever happen again in a game that I'm involved in.
So the play previous to that, you guys actually almost stole it again, but you stepped out of bounds. I'm assuming at
Correct,
that point.
Yeah, so
Whitnall had no timeouts, is my assumption, or no? I guess I shouldn't say that.
I'm not positive. I think they had no timeouts. I'm not positive though. I had no timeouts. I called my last one after. So we were down four with 6 seconds. Miles hit 2 free throws, put him up 4, threw it in. Our guard Dair Abdullah is very fast, so he jetted down the court, made the layup. Immediate timeout. I think there was 2.4. They ran like Chris, you would know, like the play we always ran at Lawrence, the JoJo out of bounds play where you like run the baseline and throw it back to the guy who steps out of bounds, and then try to throw it in. They did that, and we didn't talk about it. The kids just covered it well, and they almost turned it over. We like stole the inbounds, but our guy had his foot on the line as he was grabbing the ball to go in and attempt to lay it in. And then so then they were in the side. They're kind of in that corner, not in the corner, but like whatever, to the side closest to our bench of the hoop, and they tried to inbound it to the corner, and we swiped it and hit the 3, and pandemonium in GHS.
What did you? So the timeout. There was a timeout after the hero hit the free throws.
No, after our kid made the layup.
Okay. What did you tell your team at that point? Like, what's the conversation going, with the last however many, seconds?
We, switch everything. If they screen, try to make it throw over the top, and maybe they'll throw it too far and they'll go to bounds. We'll get the ball back. And then if we do steal it, you got to shoot it away, was essentially the message. Honestly, I didn't have clean pick into pivot 3 in the even in the possible thought process. I thought maybe maybe they throw it long and get tipped out of bounds, and then we're at half court and have to whatever, chuck something up, or maybe I don't know. I don't know. It's still pretty surreal. And again, ESPN win probability would have been very, very, very low odds.
Yet I get yelled at. Yet I get yelled at for sending a text that says Greenfield lost to Whitnall. My apologies.
Hey, we'll allow it, because at least we're Greenfield today and not Greenville anymore. We've graduated out of the local little league and into a real functioning high school. So we'll keep building onward and upward here.
Oh, that's great. That is great. So good week for you, Siebert. Your week, your game.
2 weeks. We had a couple frustrating losses, and that we won the games we needed to win, I guess, but we lost our big ones. And Wanakee, it's hard to win there, and they're playing really well right now. And then Fort Atkinson, we lost a tough one to them too, and they're playing well too. Kind of got outplayed. Got outplayed by both teams, frankly. The Panthers are having a little bit of turnover issues right now. But a lot of room for growth, and our kid, honestly, really coachable group that we're making shots and taking the right shots. We just got to get those shots without turning the ball over.
What's incredible is, so 2 weeks ago, DePouw was crystal clear, 4K. Yeah. And now he is totally lagging.
I'm in
his voice
360.
Yeah. So DePauw's up in O'Connell. He's in the Northwoods. Are you there for a week, or what? Are you there for a while for Christmas? I'm assuming.
Yeah, I'm gonna be here for a little while. Yeah, that probably explains the internet challenges here today.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's just, you could just tell it's different. It's different, and you're speaking. And then the video moves 2-3 seconds after. Siebert's perfect. Siebert's right in the middle of my screen right now, just golden.
Yeah, what can I say? I don't know. Laptop's been behaving well lately.
That's good.
Let's go power rankings.
No. We'll get to that FA power rankings in a second. Let's talk about some other games around So yesterday, did you guys watch Luther and De Pere?
Yes. I watched part of it, but not the whole thing. Only the beginning.
DePouw, were you surprised?
Surprised, good question. I think with the final result, yes, that they won by that much and that handily. I think that Wisco played a fantastic game, obviously, and shot the ball very well. I haven't seen the stats and the percentages. They're usually pretty quick about Wisc Sports. Actually, could check. Speaking of our chat from last time, they're really good about getting their box in right away. So we could find that out, and they were, but they were also getting in rhythm shots. They were finding like when Kadra Knippel's open, he makes the 3. That's how it goes. And when Xavier Zenz is open, he makes the 3 and whatnot. So I thought Wisco played really, really good, and obviously punished every single opportunity that they had. I think De Pere, I haven't watched every game, but I know the program and the players, to the point where you would expect them, if that game was played again today, that they would play better and maybe make a few more, and it would be tighter. But Wisco played really good. They really did. The pressure when De Pere tried to turn them over a little bit didn't bother them. They were forcing De Pere to score over length consistently and didn't really have any defensive breakdowns. They looked really strong.
So I just looked at the stats. It looks like box score says Lutherans shot 8 for 13 from 3, which seems I would have expected more from 3. I thought they took because right off the bat it was like bam, 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 and it was a lot of Cager. Like they jumped on DePouw immediately. That surprised me. Like I didn't.
Right.
I picked DePouw to win. I thought DePouw was going to win that game.
Didn't that happen? I might be wrong on this. Didn't 2 years ago when they played at WLC, didn't the opposite happen? Where DePouw jumped them like 20-2 or something like that. That was a good callback. So that's what it like was total flip. And then I thought, and if I recall correctly, in that game 2 years ago, Wisco came back, but then DePouw won it at the end. And I was kind of expecting almost like, all right, DePouw's run is coming, but then it just never manifested itself.
Yeah, I said the same thing yesterday when I was watching. I'm like, this is exactly what happened 2 years ago. It's an interesting matchup because, DePouw loses Hornseth, they lose Ben Willinghands. Like they don't have a lot of size, and Lutheran's just, Cager is a wing type player, but he's 6'8", 6'9". Zenz is 6'8". Like DePouw doesn't have much size, so you're looking at these matchups and it's like Zach's guarding Cager, and then all of a sudden Cager's guarding. It's like there's so many weird matchups on the floor. It was a really, really interesting game to watch.
Yeah, I think Cager's like ability, the people he's showing that he's like comfortable guarding on the perimeter, like 2027 is as good of a class as a long time as like the amount of like high end talent. I guess 2025 is really good too, but like 2027 has like a bunch of high major dudes, and I think Cager's as good as any of them, especially as his mobility is improving and his kind of comfortability with the ball. But Wisco also got really good play from like their other guy, like always. Like Alex Green's going to make some D3 coach really happy. And Mela, Ron Domovsky's really good, and Mela had a nice game. That was a kind of fun competitive matchup. Bunch of college players on the court for sure. Outside of just the big names.
Yeah, and I don't want to like go out without, Xavier Zenz I'm just looking at the box score, 24, 11, and 7.
Yeah, he's killing.
Yeah.
He's killing. He's playing as well as anybody in the state right now. Wisco.
No, that was a statement win.
For sure. I don't really I try not to look at rankings like too much. They got to be ranked now, but I know last time I looked, they weren't ranked. They got to be ranked now, right?
I think they were 5 last week, coaches poll.
Okay. Yeah, good.
I think they were 5 because Jameson and I were talking about that, about how they're. I'm assuming they're going to be.
Yeah,
it might be 1. Like you just beat the number 1.
They could be 1 now.
Yeah. I'm bringing it up now. Yeah, they were 5. Kaukauna is 2. Kaukauna lost. Kettle Moraines 3. Eau Claire Memorial is 4. Lutheran was 5. I'm fine with them being 1.
I'm fine with them being 1 too. Kettle's playing really well, but I don't know if they have quite the win that Wisco has by beating DePouw by double digits.
Yeah. It's interesting too because the tournament in Kaukauna, was it July? I don't know. Yeah, when did you guys, DePouw, you were down there.
June.
June
because July is
yeah. June. Wisco lost to Nina 29-28. Like it was in one of the, and I know it's June, it was one of the ugliest games I've ever watched. And I'm like, this is, because you're like, all right, well now this whole team has to adjust without Khan because Khan's gone. And I'm like, well, this could be a very, very interesting year because everyone's got to adjust, which is another reason I thought DePouw would beat him yesterday. I'm like, I'm amazed at how quickly they've kind of figured it out. And I know that, they have, like you mentioned Mellock and Green, and Zenz, they've had these guys, they're all really, really good. And it's like they figured out how to play with each other, I think quicker than I guess I expected.
They play a ton of high level basketball.
Yeah.
They might not play a lot of summer league, but they got 5 of them in CGL right now. So good way to get high school kids better.
Very true. Very true. Any other games from around the state non-FEA before we get into the FEA power rankings? Homestead beat Pewaukee by 15 yesterday. Is that a surprise?
I was a little surprised by that score for sure.
I was too.
I mean, I really have been impressed by Pewaukee from what I've seen, but Homestead's really good.
Yeah, I haven't seen the film, so I don't want to comment too much on again, like we talked about last week with the volume of threes Pewaukee shoots. I don't know what they shot or what the numbers were, but that's a good win for Homestead. That's for darn sure. And Pewaukee just beat West Dallas Central on Thursday, so it's not like they were beating MAS at halftime. So it's not like, I don't know if it's as much of Pewaukee's down or as it is. Excuse me, that Homestead must have played an awesome game. Would be my snap take without seeing it.
Well, I can bring you the box score up in a second here. Maybe if it's even loaded. That's there you go. Pewaukee was 6 of 31 from 3. That will do it.
That explains part of it. In the Madison area, I know we talked a little bit last week, but the Big 8 was starting to like kind of show its shape early in the season. There was a really big game in the league this week with Verona and Madison Memorial playing. Verona's really good. Won a close one, but athletic, play hard, and can shoot. And I know you watched them last week against Kellett. I'm sure you want to talk about that game. But Verona and Sun Prairie East are kind of putting their name on the Big 8 right now. And then in our league yesterday, there was a couple of good non-conference wins. Wanakee played Arrowhead really well at their – Wanakee is really hard to beat at Wanakee. And then Fort Atkinson, like Coach DePouw mentioned, they're really good defensively and held Spash to like 45 points.
Did Fort Atkinson beat Spash?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not taking it until
Fort's really good. Fort's got 2.65 seniors that are like just both like, I hate the stigma of like if they said that, like they're really like they're awesome Division 3, like awesome college, like small college basketball players, good competitive kids, like they know how to play.
The Stevens Point thing, until they get Jade Naw back, January, whatever, I'm not, they're still good, but they're going to be a totally different team in another month.
But I get what you're saying too, but Jaden wasn't on their team last year.
Well, I know, but they're still going to add them.
I think they, they're going to add them for sure. But I've been a little bit surprised. I know that they, they got a big chip on their shoulder right now for sure.
What division is Fort Atkinson?
They're 2. They're good. They're good.
No, they lost to Hortonville real close, right?
They were up 10 with
they were
8 to go or something.
Yeah.
And Hortonville really increased the pressure and increased tempo. Fort's really hard to speed up. Hortonville was kind of able to do it in the second half.
What do we make of a 125-92 score?
Yeah, I was
Chris Davis. Chris Davis Jr.
What are we doing? 125-92. For those who say we don't need a shot clock, we don't. I think this is it. Like we need a shot clock. Maybe you don't, but I didn't see. I saw highlights. I saw that Davis had 53, and I saw highlights. But
I saw some highlights too. I mean, honestly, there was a lot of shot making going on, like some crazy shots being made, and they played at a high pace, like a really, really high pace. I didn't watch it. I honestly also watched more of the first half, which wasn't I think it was only like 55-51 in the first at halftime. And it didn't and it didn't feel like that abnormal of a half. I know in the second half that both teams played more zone than they did. La Follette Prayers is out, like one of their top guys is out. Thean Riek is out, and I know that he's a really good player, but he's also really, really valuable for them because they are on the smaller side. So they definitely lose some paint defense. But I didn't see the second half where Sun Prairie would have scored 70 points. And I know they went to played a little bit over that 1-3-1 with Chris Davis on the top. And I know we talked about it a lot. He is like one of the best players I've ever seen at like timing when to. I mean, a lot of people would say it's cherry picking, but like he doesn't like he leaves at the right time to just get enough of an advantage. And if it's 1-on-1 or 1-on-a-half, it's a bucket. So when he was on the top of that 1-3-1, I'm sure he just dominated in transition the second half.
I'm going to give you another score from the week. 130-19. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
No, I do not.
You didn't hear this game?
I saw a 71-3.
All right. MAS beat the Lincoln Academy 130-19.
I did see that. Is that the Jamarian Bateman 15 for 15 from 3?
Nope. 16 for 20.
16 for 20.
16 of 20 from 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, 52 points. I mean, I was like, I look at the box score, because this is CGL. This is a CGL type game.
All in the first half, a 16 for 20 from 3.
I heard something like that.
No way. Actually,
I think it was most in the first half. I'm not sure all, but I think it was most.
I read he didn't play in the second half.
Okay, well then maybe it was I don't know. Where's the Lincoln Academy?
I'm not sure.
Okay. We're just going to leave it at that. 130-9. I mean,
yeah, one of best teams in state plays against.
I would put MAS you could say is the best team in the state all divisions, correct?
Yeah, don't you think like I hate to say it this way, or I hate to this a can of worms I'm opening up, but like how like the California like state has like the open division. I think that schools should be able to opt into Division 1.
You are not opening a can of worms. That is completely yes. I totally agree.
Because I think MAS would choose to do so. And I think
that's a question. What coaches would be like? Why would we opt? Why would we go play higher when we can just dominate our division?
I think there's some schools that
D3.
I think there's some schools that wouldn't, but I think MAS would.
Yeah, I think their players would be like, we're playing D1. We're going to play all the D1 players or all the teams.
Totally.
Yeah. Fair statement. They're the best team in high school in the state, all divisions probably. Very close.
I think that they're worthy of that. I mean, if you're talking like MAS or Wisco would deserve that number 1 ranking.
MAS plays DePouw at
it's hard not to
WBI.
MAS.
We'll find out. I mean, we'll see it. Okay. Any other games that you guys want to talk about before we get into the FVA power rankings?
I think I'm good.
Okay.
I think that's pretty good.
Okay. It's the FVA is a shit show, as it always has been. It is a shit show this year. There are 4 teams that are 3-1 that are the top of the FVA. Like we're 2 weeks in, 2-3 weeks in, and there's not an undefeated team. I honestly have no idea who Kaukauna. Go ahead.
No undefeated team after 3 conference games. It was cool.
Yeah.
2-1 was from first. That's what makes the FVA great. I love breaking down a league that
you guys aren't in.
Are not even in DePouw.
But
the bi-weekly tradition.
Is it the conference that you guys paid most attention to aside from your own?
I would say I pay more attention to the DePouw's league than the FVA, but I don't know. It's definitely up there.
It's definitely up there. I mean, I watch you and I watch Hicklin's games, but I don't really seek out any other Badger games. Then I'll watch like the Woodland games from our share pool. But the FVA is it's definitely up there. Definitely up there. It's just so fun because every Tuesday and Friday there's multiple games where you're like, that could go either way, and then like you get the like super surprise scores all the time too, where some team just randomly loses by 20, and you're like perplexed. But then you think about it like semi-critically for a second, and you're like, okay, well, the C game of the vast majority of teams in that league gets beat by the A game of somebody else, and you're gonna have some C games over the course of an 18-game conference schedule, and that's just gonna inevitably lead to some losses, and it's really fun, I gotta say.
No, I agree. Totally. Leagues with parity, the leagues with competitive games are the best ones. But I was thinking the league I know the most outside of ours is the Big 8, because our sectional is the Big 8 conference tournament.
Oh, sure. Makes sense. All right, so let's get power rankings. I thought I said previously that I was going to do like a you beat you, like it's just like a normal like rankings type, like the college, whatever. And then we would morph and hybrid into a trust rankings. I think we're already to the trust rankings. Like, I think I'm already to the point where like, I want to make the FVA power rankings, the teams that I trust, who I trust the most. Honestly, right now, if I had to give a team the number one spot of who I trust going into a night, I would put Nina number one.
How far are we going?
Wow.
And I don't know what the hell, why. Like, but I mean, I know why. But is that not fucking insane?
I don't even think it's wrong.
I think Nina's my one.
All right. Continue. Let's have you. I mean, are you giving us your full rankings, or are we talking all the way through this?
I want to talk. Do you want me to give like the top three, then we can talk to the top three? Like, we have to kind of stop. Like, because we're
so
gonna have
who was in consideration for one? I think I would have considered Nina, Appleton North.
Yep.
And Kaukauna.
Correct.
For one.
And even Appleton North. Did you say Appleton North and Oshkosh North? Appleton North, Oshkosh North, Kaukauna, and Nina. Those four.
Yes.
Like, Appleton North just beat Oshkosh North. But Oshkosh North has Zay. Appleton North shoots like shit from three. Have you looked at their percentage from three? Terrible right now, which we're going to get into after the power rankings. But then Nina loses to Fond du Lac, but Fond du Lac's like solid. But it's like, again, that's why I've gone to this. I've gone to a hybrid of a trust. If I have to go into a game on a night, I'm like, I trust Nina the most.
Wait, what did you have Fond du Lac ranked on last week?
They were like 9. I told you though. I told you they're 9 because
they were 9. I told
because it was a weekend. It was who they lost. That was it. I said they're going to move up. That's happening. I'm not worried about it, and they have moved up. They're going to move up for completely.
On behalf of the unintentional biweekly pod, Coach Ford, I apologize to the Fond du Lac Cardinal program.
We don't have to apologize to Nick Ford. Nick Ford has gotten so much praise on this podcast and my tweets. He's fine.
You put him 9. You put him 9.
I put his team 9. I didn't put his coaching 9. I put his team 9 because he lost one game. He's fine. 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, he lost the game.
3-game win. How many times has he lost since then? Undefeated, never lost.
Yeah. So Nina's my 1. I would say Kaukauna is probably 2. Appleton North 3, Oshkosh North 4. And if you flipped them around any which way, I would be fine with it. That's my 4. So that's the tier. Let's talk about that top tier. So Nina, Kaukauna, Appleton North, Oshkosh North. DePouw went blank. His internet's gone in Nakano.
So Nina's one loss is to who?
Fond du Lac.
Then why are they again?
Because it's a hybrid. I told you. I already switched. This transitive property of winning is out the window because everyone's fucking beating everyone at this point 3 weeks in. You can't just be like this. So now I'm to the trust. I trust that Nina would beat Fond du Lac if Nina played Fond du Lac.
Okay.
And I would trust that Kaukauna and Appleton North and Oshkosh North would beat Fond du Lac as well.
Okay.
Nina's my 1.
Yeah, I agree with Sam. I think that top 4 is debatable, but if you were just like, who do I think will win? Who do I trust will win? I think that's where I would go as well.
This is not how I think the FEA is going to finish out. This is how I feel right now. This is, like I mean, like this is how it is right now. It is like a college basketball rankings week to week.
I have a hard time putting Nina ahead of Appleton North. I don't know why. I just do. I think like you said, the Appleton North is not shooting the 3 well at all, and they're still like finding a way to be in games. I know that their scores so far, whatever, but
they're good teams
and they're in really close games.
and I don't have a problem saying this because we know Kellett, right? Kellett's our friend, but like, this team has played together for 3 years. Like this should be a well-oiled machine at this point. All these kids know how to play together. The juniors have played together and started since freshman year. Like, why there shouldn't be the same shit happening over and over again. And it's egos from kids, and it's, it's like, at least what I see, like they just don't play they don't play together well sometimes.
I mean, some of the stuff of, like you were saying with Pewaukee, Coach DePouw, they shoot a ton of threes, and they're not making them like at the level they need to make them, or they typically make them. And sometimes a team just looks it's a make-miss game, and it's amazing how much better a team looks when they just are making 2 more threes a game. In a high school game, 6 points is a long way when it's only 60, 65 possessions.
And that's why I don't trust. If I'm gonna trust, I don't trust them. Sorry, Ryan, go.
I trust them.
No, I think that's right, and I do trust. If this was like, you said this is immediate, like right now, and not like long term, I'd still be bullish on Appleton North long term, because I think that experience factor, I think they just have another level to play at, and how much of that is just missing shots versus how much of that is anything structural. I feel like it's missing shots. Like when you look at those guys structurally, like Ramus is incredible. If Grant Hardy or Will Sweeney are open, you expect it to go in, and it's just not going in right now as much as it will throughout the season. So I think that they're going to be just fine. I think that they're going to be right in the mix in this first tier all through the season. But all these games matter right now for conference standing. So they're going to have to get it going after New Year's. But they play at WBY. They play Brookfield Central, I know, one day, and then maybe Eau Claire Memorial the other day. So those are 2 real good games, and also credit to them on their schedule. Like they're not playing teams that they're going to, where if they play bad, they're still going to win and get, fake confidence from that. They're playing legit teams every single night. And if they have a bad game, they're going to hit a little adversity, and that's going to be good for them throughout the season, and to hopefully for their and for our guy Kellett's sake, go on a nice run in March too.
I just trust the amount of different guys that they can put on a good player too. Like they got 4 like high level they got 4 guys that can guard college players.
I don't disagree with any of that, but so far we haven't seen any of that. You know what I mean? Like they haven't looked. If we think North is here, and I think we all do at some point, like, right? Like if I had to make a final prediction, and I'm as big of a North fan as you guys, like if I had to make a final prediction, I think they'd be here. But like right now they're middle at best, like for how they've looked. They just haven't looked great, which is why, again, the rankings are kind of how it is right now.
I mean, yeah, tied for first in the conference, beat Oshkosh North.
With 4 teams, with 4 fucking, by the way, we haven't even fucking mentioned Hortonville. I put a top 4 teams, and we haven't even fucking talked about Hortonville.
Touche. Props to the Polar Bears. I apologize. All right, so we're through our top 4. Then who's your 5 and 6? So your 5 and 6 are then Fondy and Hortonville?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking through this together. So now we're through our top 6.
We want to talk about Hortonville's missing Joling the last 2 games, and they almost beat fucking Kaukauna without Joling.
And I mean, their Fort Atkinson win is looking better and better and better. I mean, Fort's played really, really well since losing to Hortonville.
Do we want to discuss Kaukauna and Oshkosh North at all, or no? I mean, Oshkosh North
did not have Joling in the Fond du Lac game where they lost by a lot.
They have, correct. They did not. Last 2 games, so they did not have Joling against Fond du Lac. They did not have Joling against Kaukauna.
Okay.
But okay, do we want to talk? Oshkosh North? The whole thing is once they get Bryce Sott, that team's going to be completely different.
Totally.
Agreed?
Right.
Okay.
Totally.
Right.
What are our concerns about Kaukauna? Do we have any? Because they looked like shit all this past week. They didn't look great. They lost to Neenah, and then they were down to Hortonville, and that game could have flipped. They ended up winning, but like, they got a shitload of scoring. You're just like, what's happening here?
They're in any game. I like them. I mean, KVK is way better than I ever thought. Like, he's really good, and they get a good shot every time down. they've scored what I don't have their schedule in front of me, but I want to say they've had like 90 points in every single game except did Nina. I mean, Nina's as good defensively as anybody. I would say Nina and Appleton North are probably two of the best defensive teams in the league, but Kaukauna just gets a good shot every time down. And then having Andrew Jensen kind of
is chucking a three a good shot every time down? Because a lot of times it seems what Kaukauna does.
I mean, if you're talking points per possession, they're getting a shot that's relatively close to 1.0 PPP. I mean, KVK can hit hard shots. Jonah Rarick can hit hard shots. And Andrew Jensen single-handedly kind of gives you a defense that kind of has a chance. That just because I like talking about kids that don't get – they have a guy that's making play, the big guy that's doing well. What's his name? Graf?
Yeah, he was awesome against I think it was Nina. No, it was Hortonville. Hortonville, I think. Maybe it was Nina. No, it might have been Nina.
I love their freshman too, actually. Tyler Schwalbach.
Okay. I want to make sure I don't want to like leave kids out. So we mentioned kids. I want to make sure that
their freshman's good. And like he when they played Oshkosh North, he was the one that was kind of like, he was guarding Zay at times when they did like the box and one. He's competitive.
Yeah, Caden Graff had 16 and 5 against Nina.
Yeah, I mean we've always talked. I know you're the unintentional stereotype. We're breaking a bunch of stereotypes this year in the sense that we got Nina number one, and then you always talk about Kaukauna depth. But for years and years and years and years, I feel like they're getting more scoring from like other dudes this year.
They are. Well, I mean, it's their two, right? The main thing is that it's, Van Kallenberg is Jensen. Rory's kind of like the third, but they are getting like fourth, fifth, maybe a sixth. Yes, a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. When I talk about the depth, it's like normally they just play with 7 guys, which a lot of teams do, but
yeah.
Okay, so Hortonville 6, Fond du Lac 7. That means right? No, Hortonville 5, Fond du Lac 6.
Yep.
Kimberly 7.
Ah, man.
Who am I forgetting?
I feel like I
think we're leaving someone out.
They belong in that. I think they belong in that 5-6 tier, and I think they'll have because they played A West, O West this past week, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so they have to have some opportunities coming up here with.
Yeah, I feel like they're in that
North,
tier.
O North, Kaukauna.
I agree with Coach DePouw that they're in that tier too, but they just haven't like gotten a win to prove it yet. But Bayport's a good one for them this week, and then they play Appleton North and Oshkosh North right out of the new year. So
so they're kind of question mark right now, right?
But beating Whitnall, I mean, good win. I would say they belong in that tier with Hortonville and Fondy.
I agree.
But I'm fine if you want to put them at 7.
I don't disagree with that. Yeah, I agree they're in that tier. But yeah, right now I think they're 7.
So then we have there's 10 teams in the league, right?
Appleton East,
A East, O West.
Yeah, so then you got A East, O West, probably the same tier, and then Appleton West.
Yeah, I mean Appleton East only lost to Oshkosh North by 6.
Yeah, they're competitive. They're hanging in with everybody.
No, they're not. They got blown up by Nina by like 25. They're like
that's everybody.
They're hanging in. They're hanging in, or they're getting their doors blown off. Like that's the Appleton East so far. I'm gonna bring up their schedule. I'm gonna bring up their scores. Because it's weird. It's really, really interesting. Because the season started, right? They beat Marshfield 39-37, so they're 3-4. They beat Marshfield by 2. They beat Fond du Lac by 2. They beat Pulaski by 3. They lose to Kaukauna by almost 50. They lose to Bayport by 12. Lose to Oshkosh North by 6. They lose to Nina 53-29. It's close. It's feast or famine.
Huh.
Yeah, Nina guards.
I don't even think, by the way, back to Nina. I don't think Nick Schultz is even starting right now.
Death taxes and Nina guards. Nick Schultz is awesome though.
He's amazing. Yes.
I am big. I really like the way he plays. He's gotten a ton better. I know he hurt his ankle was out for a little bit.
Yep, he was. Yep.
They're a different team without him too. I mean, did you watch the Brookfield East game?
I did not.
You did, DePouw?
I did.
Yeah, I mean,
they need
to
his
think that
dynamicism scoring is pretty important.
he just allows their emotion-based program too, and like I just feel like it's hard to run motion without like high IQ guys out there, and he raises the floor for everybody.
And I don't want to talk about I gotta bring up this Kakana game because Nick Schultz gets his props, but there's another kid on their team, Joey Dunn. Do you guys know this kid?
I haven't watched him enough, but
I mean, against Kakana, he had 17 points.
Yeah, shoot, he's their leading scorer and shooting 55%
Yeah.
of the floor.
I don't know who the hell he is. Never heard his name before. Props to him. He's a senior.
Luke Young winning high school sporting events, not shocking either. And then how about his brother, now new Badger? Did you see that, DePouw?
Yeah, Bethel to the Badgers.
Did you, his numbers through 2 years of D3 football are insane.
I'm anxious to see how this turns out.
What?
I'm very anxious to see it. That's a big jump. That's a very big jump.
Huge jump. It's a huge jump. D3 freshmen don't even play, let alone have 15 interceptions.
He had 15 picks.
Yeah, his numbers were like video game, dude. I'm telling you.
Well, he's not. What do you mean? He's a junior. He's 21 years old.
Well, I know and through 2 years of college football, he has something insane. Like I don't want to get it wrong, but like 200 tackles, like 16 interceptions, like I don't know. He's like the honey badger of Division III football.
All right. Okay. So our FVA shit's done. Do you guys feel? I commented a little. Are we done with FVA? You guys good with that? We're moving on.
Yep.
Yep. Do you guys feel like the 3-point shooting in high school basketball this year is really bad right now? Guys that you expected to have like I don't know how it is down there, but like in the FVA, there's some bad percentages from some kids that you're like, really? You're kind of shooting like shit. And it's early.
I would say maybe if anything, like some of the game is trending in the way people defend the 3-point line a little bit. Like, the way people teach closeout. Some people are
I think Chris is
running
on to
people off the
something here.
line.
I think that there's been like a defensive kind of, I don't know, like fighting back against all the open threes that there were for so many years, and now maybe offense is still chucking them at the same rate, but they're harder shots now because defense is out further or closing out more aggressively or chasing shooters off the line more, and maybe offense hasn't kind of, because it's a constant push and pull, right? Offense gets ahead and then defense catches up, and then offense gets ahead again and then defense catches up, and and vice versa. So maybe maybe defense is caught up and there's a next like step offensively, and maybe it is going back to the rim. But that's a fair take as far as shooting goes, unless your name is Jamarion Bateman and you made 16 threes in the first half. Things seem to be going all right for him.
Well, so I went to WIS Sports. I know it's not correct, but like I'm just going to sort by 3-point attempts per player, because typically your best 3-point shooters are probably shooting the most threes, right? Here's the percentages of the top. I'll just run down the top guys, whatever. So the first guy's shot 95 threes. 25%,
95 threes up.
Adam Bednorski.
From where? That's DePauw's favorite program.
Winter.
Oh, I love it.
Nice.
I don't even know who that is.
Winter leads the state in a ton of stats always.
Okay, so
they had a guy average like 40 rebounds a game last year.
So I mean, but look at this: 25%, 33%, 37%, 34%, 34%, 30%, 32%. I got to go to Ty Mankey from Brookfield Academy to get to over 40%. He's at 42, 37, 38, then another 41. 29, 33. Like it's horseshit. It's not. I feel like I don't know. Me and Craig talk about I feel like there's not a lot of guys like the so-called great shooters in the state are not shooting well right now to start the year.
It's hard to shoot 40% in high school, and I think the coaches that have shooters that are capable of shooting 40% are just encouraging so much volume that it's like hard to stay efficient. Because like a 35% three is a winning shot in high school.
Oh God!
It truly, I mean, it wins games. You're 1.1, and then you got a chance to offensive rebound that shot. Anything beats a turnover. And with all this being said of 3-point shooting trending down, our opponents are shooting 39% in the first half against us this year from three. So our opponents are shooting well.
So you guys mentioned Bateman. He's the only guy in the top whatever that's 50%. He's 31 for 62 from three.
That's tough. But like, I have the best shooter I've coached at Oregon right now. He's
Don't piss anyone off. Don't piss anyone off, Chris.
I mean, he's a driveway. He's good at. He'd be tough to beat at horse. But he's shooting 42 point, almost 43, and like it feels like he hasn't missed. But I don't know. I can't imagine shooting 50%. DePouw, do you have anybody shooting 50%? You guys are like killing offensively right now.
No, nobody's shooting 50% from three, and we shot 4 for 25 on Thursday from three. So those have taken a slight hit.
The Greenfield Hawks shoot a lot of threes, Sam.
Less this year, a lot less this year, so far.
I'm gonna bring up the FEA and see if or see what the FEA stats are since it's closer to
what's Van Cowenberg shooting? Because I would feel like every time he shoots it like feels like it's gonna go in.
So I'm sorting by, this is insane. Again, not everyone has their stats, and that's the other problem, is not everyone has their stuff in. So if I sort by attempts, Eli Zimmerman, 64 attempts, 34%. The next closest is Van Cowenberg, 14 for 37, 37.8%. Fondy has 3 of the top 4 guys for attempts. So Fondy is clearly shooting a shitload of threes. But like, people can look at, Preston Giacomo is shooting 53% from 3 for East.
I don't feel like 3-point shooting is down.
Zay Mitchell, 6 for 26. And I love Zay.
If anything, I would say it's getting really hard for like really good players to get good threes. What did you say KVK is shooting?
Is that what we're calling him now? KVK? I didn't know that was a thing.
I don't want to say his full name. I just like, that's what, yeah.
37.8%.
I mean, it's just hard for guys like that to get good shots.
The Appleton North boys are.
Yeah. I have faith in them though. They're gonna make shots, but
I think it's Riley Miller. Riley Miller is 11 for 22.
If anything, with that, like, I don't know. Never mind.
The thing with it though is you're 1-6 for 8 game from 3 from being like, now look who's shooting 40% again. Now,
I know
exactly. You could go 1 for 8, vice versa, and with the volume. But I think that's also with the some of the blowouts we've seen is it's the 3-point attempt rate, and maybe it's like it's kind of NBA all the way on down. Maybe it's finally at that level for the high school game where like there's not many teams that you go into a game anymore. And Chris, maybe you would disagree, but I'm trying to think of our schedule and even the teams you've played this far. There's not many games where you go in and you're like, yeah, they have no shooters. Like pretty much every game you're going into it and they're like, all right, they have shooters all over. We have to run them off the line. We have to like really try to make these attempts difficult. And I think that's like the trickle down from the pro game. Obviously it's been like that for a while there to, if you watch D1 college, and we'll talk Duke, I'm sure in the next 10 minutes or so when we transition there, but they have 4 shooters and a rim runner on the court at all times. And most college teams have a similar build, if not 5 shooters. And I think that's here at the high school level. It's very rare you're playing a team that has multiple non-shooters.
Help rotations have just all changed too. Like nobody's helping same side corner anymore. And like 10, 15 years ago, everyone was coming in from there.
Yeah, less pack line, more like the whatever Chris Beard, Texas Tech, whomever you want to give credit to. It's more of the force baseline stuff, which lends itself to giving up more backside threes, different rotations. Yeah, I don't know. Interesting.
All right. Well, we'll leave it at that. I just thought it was something interesting. I thought that the kids that I thought were pretty good shooters were not shooting great. So I just
DePouw, are your attempts down strategically? Or like just
yes. I think strategically, I think I just think we're like
bigger.
I always say we're not trying to shoot 43s a night. We're trying to get layups, and if they take away layups, then we want catch and shoot threes. And this year we're just a little bigger and faster, where I think we're able to get more layups. Like a layup and a free throw is still the best and always will be the best shots that you can get. And that's not groundbreaking analysis or anything, but like the 3 is meant to open up the layup opportunities. But I think you can toe the line of too far right to the other direction.
Yeah, I would push back like what DePouw just mentioned is that, Sam, like I think free throw shooting, like you said, the 3-point shootings get like free throw shooting, like it's just such a luxury to go to the line and make 2 free throws, and it just feels like it's harder and harder and harder
to shoot free throws.
Yeah,
that's pathetic. That's pathetic. That is the one stat that should never go down.
I don't know if I need to do like a deep dive, but feels like we're every game, there's a big swing that's happening at the line.
How often do you guys work on free throw shooting?
We're honestly having a good year at the line right now, but like our opponents are missing tons of free throws, and then tons of games.
Oregon crowd.
Tons of games I'm watching being decided by free throws. I think a lot of it comes down to how are your best shooters the guy that they get fouled or not. But we work on free throws more this year than we have in the past, to be honest. I kind of change my thought all the time.
Paul, you?
I honestly don't mass shoot free throws very often. We'll do validate for a drill or kind of just some block reps once in a while, but we don't stop practice and shoot 25 free throws and chart them or whatnot like you used to when we played in high school. I remember before I had to leave practice, you'd have to go shoot 25 and then put your number on the sheet or whatnot. So we don't do that, but I don't know. Free throws are a funny thing that way, because there's some coaches who will practice them every day and believe that the team shoot good because of that. And then there's really successful coaches that will never shoot free throws in practice and think that it's not, representative of the game environment. And I don't know, it's a curious thing.
Well, I'm excited for you guys to lose a game because of free throw shooting. We can talk about it on the podcast.
We kind of did.
That'd be awesome.
You kind of did, you said?
Kind of. I mean, you can't you never want to put pointer at one thing, but lost a game by 2 in which we missed 10 and they missed 3.
Yeah, it's tough. All right, moving on. I sent you guys this list. We'll just touch base quickly on this one. The Post Crescent Appleton area put out a list of the let's vote for the best Appleton area basketball player. First off, there are a million different ways to take this poll. The first one is, why are there 25 fucking people on the list? You could probably just label 5. Can we probably narrow it down to 5 players in the Appleton area that are the best basketball players? Probably. 2, probably not leave off one of the best players in the FEA. might be a good idea. I don't know how this list was. I should have reached out to the writer and said, hey, how was this list compiled? Did you ask the coaches? Did the players say, like, I don't want to be on the list? I don't know. Like,
omit me from the best players in the
right?
area
Like,
list.
we'll call it out. So if whoever's listening to this, if you didn't see this, Nathan Ramis is not on the list. Like, you can make the argument that Nathan Ramis is the second best basketball player in the FEA. Fair?
Definitely.
Not on the list. What am I doing with this? What do I do with the list? What do I do when the second best basketball player is not on the list?
Yeah, that's a tough list. I'm looking at it now. It looks like they just grabbed one player from each school.
No, but they didn't, because Hardy and Sweeney are on the fucking team on the list from Appleton North.
Yeah, that's we'll have to ask Kellett which order he listed his name.
Yeah, right. Was it Kellett? Did Kellett say screw? Did Ramis piss him off that day? And Kellett's like, take Ramis off the list.
Well, I don't know. I mean, as a coach that has to fill out way too many preseason preview forms for every single newspaper, I wouldn't be shocked if it has to do with just the order the names are written on a sheet of paper.
I don't know. And I get it. Like, it's interesting because, like, there's no –
scored less points than Sweeney and Hardy last year as a sophomore.
I guess I don't know. Yeah. Is there a list of 3 guys? Because I think there's multiple people that have, like, 2 – there's people, like, 2 from a team.
Yeah, there's 2 guys from 2 Freedom. There's – let me go back to it. 2 Freedom, there's –
and I would assume that the second guy on Freedom, I don't know the name. I could look at it. Will probably tell you, I'm sure I don't need to be on the list because Donovan Davis is on the fucking list and he's clearly the right answer. Like, it's just.
As Xavier has 2, Ramchek and Luke Olhafen. FVL has 2. We got two Foxes. Yeah, I don't know. Ramis. That feels like a glaring miss.
I just, again, I don't know how it was compiled. I just, and then the other thing funny to me is, and I get it, like the Post Crescent has like, there's an Oshkosh paper. I think there's a Green Bay paper, whatever it is. So like, but Winneconne's on this list. Winneconne's closer to Oshkosh than it is to Appleton. Seymour's on the list. That's closer to Green Bay, I think, but there's no De Pere kids or anything like that. Wrightstown is in the middle of Appleton and Green Bay, but there's a Wrightstown kid. Like, I don't know how you filter these kids and again, it doesn't matter because Donovan Davis is the answer. So, and if Donovan wasn't, then Zay Mitchell's not on it because there's an Oshkosh Northwestern. So if there's not, I should actually look, is there an Oshkosh portion poll of this, right? Is there an Oshkosh poll of the best Oshkosh area basketball players? Because that should have just one player on the list. It's Zay Mitchell, like, and Green Bay should have one, and it's Zach Kinziger. Like,
did 2 Kimberly kids get on here?
No, just Wilds. Wilds is the only one on it. It's fascinating to me. It is fascinating to me. These are the things
I hate to say. I mean, the high school the newspaper coverage that you and I had when we played high school basketball centuries ago has been replaced by podcasts by guys like you and me.
Well, so here's the thing. Whoever the person who did this, I know the name because I looked at it, whatever. He probably has no idea who I am. He's probably never heard of the podcast. I don't know. But this is the shit that would be right up my alley or yours or DePouw's. Like, if this guy would have came to me and said, hey, I see you follow FVA basketball, the basketball in the area. I have a list of best Appleton area basketball players. What do you think of this list of 25 kids? I'd be like, well, you're missing Nathan Ramis. Like,
yeah.
And do you need 25 kids? And I get it. It makes the kids feel good and it makes the parents feel cool. And if you vote on it and you look at the results, there's whole nother section of, okay, wow.
What are the results?
Donovan Davis is not number 1. That's all you need to know.
Got it. Okay.
So
I know my freshman coach is a relative of the Brilliant representative.
Oh, yeah. You said that, yeah. Whatever. Oh, they're all popularity, right? It's all the people who can, tweet out the much and post on Facebook and get vote for my kid. You know what I mean? But like us as basketball fans and know basketball, we're like, this is too big. You're missing a kid, and the answer is Donovan Davis. I think that's.
I think the list having 25 people is the answer to is that's why they're just trying to get people to vote more,
Right.
more families, more people, more eyes.
Right. More
Get those
interaction.
subscriptions up. Yeah.
Yep. Which, by the way, is $1 a month. So you may have just increased your revenue at $25 a month.
Yeah. Buy the Post Crescent. A little holiday holiday deal.
Oh, okay. Are we at an hour? We're probably at an hour. I want to talk. I said we talk about Gottlieb. I'm not worried about that. Let's talk about Con. I want to talk about Con. Did you guys watch Con versus Georgia Tech?
I did.
Siebert, you said you did a little bit, I think.
No, I did not, but
you didn't. Okay.
I saw a little bit of it on Twitter. I know it was like one of his best games.
Yeah. Awesome game. Awesome game.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about it because I want, you guys asked because I sent you the agenda, whatever. Jim Boeheim is a moron. Like, full-fledged, like, I'm sure he was a great coach in his day. He's, what, is he 80? How old is Jim Boeheim? Someone want to Google it? How old is he?
Let me look it up right now.
He is so boring doing this game. Like, he sounds like he's half asleep, might be half asleep. And
he is 80 on the dot.
80. Okay. I'm sorry. My dad's 77. I would never want him doing a basketball game. I wouldn't. It would not be. So the first half, obviously we all know, we've talked about this. Con Knippel is going to be a lottery pick. I don't give a shit how bad he's shooting or how poorly he shot to start the year. He's going to be a lottery pick because NBA execs understand what they're looking at and what it is. So there's a point in the first half where it gets brought up by the announcer that he's, Con Knippel, lottery pick. And clearly Boeheim has not done any research on this game. It fully shows. And he's like, well, I don't know, let's not get over, let's not confuse, maybe not. I don't know if he's a lottery pick. He's really going to be a good college. I was waiting for him to say he's going to be a good 4-year college basketball player. He's going to be good next year, whatever. But he was like, some guys are just good college basketball players. They're not good at the next level. It was shade, right? Throwing shade. Let's call what the kids say. Do they still say throwing shade? Throwing shade. It was very, very not great stuff about Con. Then we get into the second half, and Con shot well. He was 4 of 8 for the game, and he was, I think, 2 for 4 in the first half. He starts running a pick and roll with Common Malawach, and it's just destroying Georgia Tech. And it happens like 2 or 3 times in a row. And then like the fourth time, a Georgia Tech guard comes out and like just rushes it, and the ball like kind of strips it, whatever, but kicks the ball out of bounds. Boeheim's like, that's why, Knippel shouldn't be running this pick and roll. He's more of a catch and shooter. He should just be sitting on the side catching and shooting. He can't really run the pick and roll. He's not really much of a guard. And I'm like, did you just fucking watch the last 3 or 4 possessions? Because he just destroyed Georgia Tech on the pick and roll. And then he did it again 2 more possessions after. And then it ends with they interview Con because he was the player of the game, whatever. And Boeheim, because he's, this legendary coach, is like, you just shoot the ball. Don't think about it. You shoot the ball. Like this whole viral thing. I don't know if it's viral, but like it was on Instagram that, oh, look, amazing coach tells Con Knippel, keep shooting the ball. And it's like, no fucking shit. I don't think Con needed to hear that from you, Jim Boeheim. Also, you fucking blasted him for fucking 2 hours on the fucking podcast, on the broadcast, about how he's not a lottery pick and he shouldn't be running point guard and running pick and roll. I was so pissed off. I was so fucking mad about it. And I wanted to talk about it because I was pissed off.
I like that you don't get nervous watching Con, but you get pissed.
It's just stupid.
Yeah. No, I mean, he's unreal. He's nasty. I mean, it's cool that he's looks like it's starting to get more comfortable though. I mean, he dominated Georgia Tech, obviously. And this is my Con rant. And you guys, I guess I'm doing this so you guys can, because you guys know Con. So what I do after I go in my hot tub a lot and I listen to Duke podcasts, and I like to hear what they say about Con, because again, you guys have probably seen more Con than I have because you played against him or with him in CGL for years. You know what I mean? And so I'm listening to one tonight after the recap of the Georgia Tech game, and I understand that these guys follow Duke, but they don't clearly do enough, maybe as much research. And I'm not sitting here. I don't come on a podcast talking about Isaiah Evans or even Cooper Flagg or anyone because I haven't done the research on it.
and they're like, oh, it's really nice that Khan, maybe it was good that Khan was in a shooting slump, so now he was able to develop his pick and roll game. And I'm like, dude, this is the shit that he's always done. Like, this is who Khan is. Like, Khan runs fucking point. Like, he runs pick and roll. He can run as a shooting guard. He's essentially a combo guard, right? He's not a wing. He's a shooting guard / combo guard.
I think it's offensive to call Khan a shooter.
Yeah.
Like, if
yes.
I mean, he truly isn't a shooter. He's I don't know.
No, he's a playmaker. He puts pressure on the hoop because of how well he shoots. He puts pressure on the hoop because of how strong he is going to the basket. He puts pressure on the hoop because of how well he can pass, as evidenced by those pick and roll lobs to Malawak. And he can come off that pin down, which is like a de facto pick and roll, and get into that 2-man game. His passing is incredible. Not to mention the defense, and that he's just always between his guy and the hoop, and strong as an ox, and good hands and feet. And yeah, it is offensive to hear some of that stuff, and just like, as you noted, Sam, just a lack of research. Like, watch one EYBL game from the past, or read like one little background profile about him beyond just watching the first game when he hit 6 threes or whatever against whoever they played in Maine in game number 1, and thinking that he's a catch and shoot guy only.
It's frustrating for me as like a Duke fan and listening to these Duke podcasts. Like, oh, it's so nice that he's able to develop this pick and roll game, and it's like he's had this pick and roll game. He's been a point guard his whole life. Like, he's run pick and roll. He's always makes. We've talked about this for the last year, almost a year, right? Siebert, you and I, the Holy Cross recap. Like, we've talked about the shit that Khan does, and I'm not expecting these Duke guys to go and find a random podcast that I have and be like, oh yeah, maybe this guy knows what he's talking about. But like, he's one of the best players on Duke. He's going to be a lottery pick. He does so much, and they're like, oh my God, they uncovered this amazing thing that Con Knippel can all of a sudden do because he got in a shooting slump. And it's like, this shit is what he's always done. Like, you just had to let him do it. He did it against Kansas. Like, at the end of the Kansas game, they lost the game, but like, him and Cooper did a lot of pick and roll stuff. Like, this is what we have talked about, and I've talked about, like, and Jeff and I talked about when we did a Con podcast, a couple months ago. Like, put the ball in his hands. He's going to make plays. He's going to pass to the right player. He's not going to turn the ball over. He didn't have any turnovers against Georgia Tech. Give him the ball. He can handle it. Like he said, he's not a shooting guard. He's not a wing. He is a combo guard. He can be he can run the point, and then he can go off and shoot. Like, and I just hate that they're like this is some like newfound shit. Like, oh my God, we've unveiled a Con Knippel thing that no one ever knew before. It's like, no, we all fucking knew it. Like, we all fucking knew it. Sorry.
Yeah, he's a beast.
Pisses me off.
I think you're spot on.
He looks like in the Georgia Tech game, he put up the numbers you said he was going to average for this season too.
Did Jeff say it? Jeff said, and I probably agreed. What was it? Was it 25-5 or was it 18-5-5? What was
you said it was going to be 19-5-5, and that was when DePouw and I let you know that would be a first team All-American.
What's he at? Right now? He's at something in 4.
Not 19-5-5.
No, he's not at 19. We got a long.
His turnover ratio is like 4. But he
doesn't turn the ball over. It's fucking insane.
I think he's like 12-4-3 type.
Amazing.
It is.
It is amazing how good he is at just avoiding bad plays altogether. Like, obviously the turnover is the worst thing he can do on offense, but he never turns the ball over. He never like makes stupid fouls on defense, or is whatever out of line, like gambling for steals. He is so good at not making bad plays.
Yeah. And like I said, you guys have seen this at the adult level, at his like adult level, more than I have, because you guys got to play with him and against him in CGL. Like, this shit's not anything, like, we watch it and we're like, yup. Like, we're not surprised.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing.
The other thing, I don't know if you guys, I don't think I sent you guys this. There's a guy that is a Duke guy. His name is, I think on Twitter it's I don't want to say J-Man's Takes. So he did a video breakdown of Khan and why he's in a shooting slump. If we want to say that he's in a shooting slump. And he
here we go.
No, it's actually really interesting. It's actually really good. I'm not about to rip on this guy because I think it's actually really good. He went through and looked at the first, and I want to go back and look at his high school videos, and even I wish I had video Holy Cross to see it. He went back and said whenever Kahn shoots in like a 1-2 step, he makes his threes. When he catches like 2 feet on the ground, like just catch, bounce, that's when he's missing his threes. And if you watch the game from Georgia Tech, and I don't know if all 4 were like that, but the 1-2s he makes, the 2-foot like plants, he misses.
I can recall him making plenty of shots on me with hop step,
2 feet,
and ball going
Correct.
in just fine.
I said the same thing. I said, I'm not sure that's a thing, but it by all accounts seems to check out as far as this year goes. You know what I mean? I texted to Norgard and Jeff was like, I've always been a 1-2 guy. I'm like, yeah, I think all of us are 1-2 for the most guy. But I'm like, I've seen Kahn make plenty of fucking threes, just bam, 3. But I thought it was interesting because it did seem to check out as the year has gone so far.
Sample size.
Okay.
He's got all the shots. I'm trying to find J-Man's takes. I'd like to see J-Man's takes shoot the ball.
Oh, here we go. Look at you. That's don't be that guy, Siebert. Don't be that guy.
He's got all the shots, man. He can shoot off 2 feet. I'm just saying. All right. Hey, 4-3. First 3 he hit against Georgia Tech is a 2-foot hop to go 6-3. Second three. First one is a little get with Malawach, 2 feet hop cash. Second shot is
I feel like I'm going to look at these and you're wrong.
Floppy and he goes 1-2.
I thought all 3 were 1-2 right away. I thought they were all 1-2 right away.
The third one he hopped and then like attacked the closeout off a hop. So like I don't know, I'm watching his highlights on that Duke Lights. He's on Duke Lights X. There's 1-2 and it was cash, but like he can play off the hop too. Hop into the pick and roll with Malawach to the lob.
All right, I got you. I know where you're at here.
This is great podcasting. I've just watched a minute-long video.
We've had way.
And the other reason that I know he can shoot off 2 is one of his favorite shots is that like 2-foot jump stop in the lane that he does that little baby fade to his left.
See that? I don't know that first one's kind of a 1-2. It's a little.
No way.
The second one definitely is a 1-2 because he comes around.
It's a 1-2. The first one is a hop. Both feet are on the ground, hit the ground at the same time.
Anyways, I thought it was interesting. So, do you care? Like you guys?
Yeah, I honestly, it makes a huge difference for me.
Okay, that's yeah.
But Kahn reps so hard, works so hard, and his footwork has been so good since he's been 14. Like he's had all these shots since he's been in 8th grade. I remember talking to Kahn one about it, and he talked about, I don't even know Monfrey, but he said Monfrey like was really good at teaching Kahn 2 shooting footwork. He's got all the feet. I don't know. I don't think there's too much to the sample size thing. I think that there's truth to an athleticism jump of not only going from high school to the ACC, but he's also like we just talked about with how hard people work to not give up good looks. He's the #1 shooter for Duke.
Yeah.
So he goes into every single game at a Division I level playing the teams in the country with the other team saying, we can't let this 18-year-old catch and shoot 3. So he's in a shooting slump because he's not getting easy shots. Like we just watched these Georgia Tech ones, and none of these are like stand still, swing, whatever, like inside out. Like it's off the move, it's off the work. It's he's having to earn his shots at a different level than he's had to before. And I know he had to move and work in CGL, but like, shoot, we're old and slow.
All right. Well, I'm going to send you the J-Man video of it.
Yeah, I'll watch it. But
because I do think it is interesting.
I just found J-Man's takes. All right.
J man.
J man. I didn't realize it's like J man, like name. I thought it's his name.
He's good. I like him. He's not one of the guys that like is like, oh, Con can handle the ball.
I like his
Stupid people. I don't. That's
Good on Duke for teaching him how to dribble. Nice.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Thank God he got into shooting slumps. So we can all of a sudden like think about that. It's like he came in and couldn't dribble and run the pick and roll, but because he didn't shoot well, they're like, now he's developed into a point guard. Like, what are we doing? You all thought that he was a shooting guard, like, but that apparently didn't work for you. It's unbelievable.
J man's takes is a big Con guy.
Yeah.
You see this tweet yesterday? Guy tweets, first Con miss was not a hop, so you're a fraud at J-Man Takes. He retweets with comment a Chappelle Show skit, a GIF, spilling the water off the table. I mean, I'm telling you, I promise you the Con can shoot and more importantly, play off of the hop.
You are not telling me anything I don't know.
I
thought it was interesting.
And part of the footwork thing with Con too is like he'll hop if he feels the closeout is running him off, because I think like the 1-2. So part of it is, setting up his drive too.
Yeah. I just thought it was interesting. I mean, it's a good watch it for 4 minutes and just
because lo and behold, he can dribble as well.
You're right. Holy shit. Who knew? And he can pass. Wow. Shocker. Didn't see that because we didn't watch any fucking video ever. God. Oh, all right. I got nothing else. This is fucking long.
Well, no, thank you.
Can we at least keep doing this every 2 weeks? Maybe not every week, but every 2 weeks.
Yeah, as long as
I can keep every.
Yeah.
Every 2 weeks works.
Okay.
Sam just likes to get us in his calendar. We'll see you guys. We'll see the unintentional faithful in 2 weeks. Thanks for all you do, Sam, to keep us going.
What do we got for games for you guys coming up over the holiday season here? What do we got?
We got a big one. We play Verona next Saturday for we like are having a little Christmas event.
28th.
Verona's really good.
Yeah.
Verona's
big
really
one
good.
for the Hawks too. We got Racine Park, who's top. I don't know what they are in their top 10 for sure, and they'll probably go up again this week. So, be a fun game at Parkside, playing at UW Parkside.
When's that, DePouw?
Saturday, 28th.
Okay. Are you guys going to go to WBY at all Thursday, Friday?
Racine Park.
I might. Yeah, Park's D2.
Surprised by that. Isn't Case huge?
Yeah. I'm not sure why Park is so much smaller. That's a good question. WBY wise, I definitely will at some point. I haven't looked at the rundown of games. Got some time here in O'Connell, and as long as my internet connection holds up, I should be able to maybe do some browsing on that.
Right.
Not sure if I'll make it. We play and we're hosting a Christmas event.
Yeah, I suppose it's a lot. All right. Well, I'm going to end this. Obviously, stay on, guys. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks,
it's been a pleasure as always, guys. It's always a pleasure.
Thanks, man.
Good win, Coach DePouw. Congrats on the shot, MSP.
Great win.
Thank you. Appreciate that.